Let's turn this mic up. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hey, Mike. Hey, Theron. Great to see you guys here. So this week there was a lot of news about assorted theme park things. And the theme park thing we're going to focus on most, with this stream at least, is the Universal Studios FanFest Nights event that is coming up this year. It's the very first year that FanFest Nights is happening, and I've been excited about this technically since like July of last year when I started hearing to happen. Did my stream freeze? I don't know. Maybe it did. I don't know. There we go. Okay, we're fixed. My OBS kind of blipped for a second there, but yeah. So I have like tickets dropped Wednesday with like no pre-announcement about when tickets were going to drop, which was a huge surprise to me as someone who on Thursday needed to buy tickets to Star Wars nights. So it's been an incredibly expensive week in my household. But I'm really excited to talk about this because it is a really cool event and they're bringing some very interesting things for this first year. Hey, Joey, thanks so much for tuning in. And I've also just noticed a lot of like confusion around what the event is and what's going to be on offer. So I wanted to kind of go through what we know about the event so far based on what's on the website, as well as this great write-up by my friend Sabina Graves over on Gizmodo. So I'm going to be using both of those things along with my own personal knowledge of the event to sort of talk about it and go through everything that's been announced in the past week. I will preface this with the fact that I am a fan, I am a streamer, I am in no way currently affiliated with Universal Studios Hollywood or any of their theme parks. I'm just a big nerd for theme parks and I'm really excited about this event. So like direct customer service questions elsewhere because I cannot help you. But I will give you a rundown of everything that I know, starting with the fact that this event is happening from April 25th to May 18th, and tickets are still available. So it's going to be every weekend from the 25th of April to the 18th of May. So we've got 4 weekends that this is going on. It's a very limited event for that reason. I'm gonna take some water. Hold on. And I've been really excited. Like, I've been stalking this site for like 3 months now. And the first whispers I heard of this event were about the Star Trek part of this event. There were rumors that the Enterprise D was being preserved from the Picard season 3 series, but nobody really knew what was going to happen with it. And I heard that there was going to be a Star Trek event at Universal, and that's like the first inkling of my knowledge of what was going on with this. So FanFest Nights, just to preface it, is essentially Halloween Horror Nights for like nerds. And you could argue that Halloween Horror Nights is also for nerds, like nerds exist and stuff, but this is about fandoms ranging from science fiction to fantasy to anime, and some classic fandoms that we grew up with, that we know and love, that have been hosted at Universal Studios in the past. So a little bit about me. I was raised on Star Trek, especially The Next Generation. I was born same year The Next Generation came out, so that thing was on TV through like the first 5-6 years of my life, every day. So, or not every day, but you know, all the time. And when I was like 3-ish, my parents went, I was 91, so 3, my parents went to Universal and did this like green screen experience where you could be green screened into an episode of Star Trek. So if you're looking for that, that's here on my channel. So Star Trek has had deals with Universal in the past. Paramount and Universal, I believe, are under the same like company umbrella, like Viacom or something around those, like that. So that is why we see things like Star Trek here. And of course, Back to the Future was one of the most legendary rides at Universal Studios. We miss it every day. And I was kind of hoping that they'd bring back the Back to the Future ride in some form for this event, but we are getting something really cool. So yeah, so FanFest Nights is essentially Horror Nights, but for nerds, and it is inclusive of 7 different fandoms that will be represented at the parks each weekend. And the thing to really understand about this event is that all of those fandoms will be there every single weekend. So there is not a weekend that is just Star Trek. There's not a weekend that's just Back to the Future. All of these things are going to be there every weekend. So if you're waiting for a particular weekend, don't wait. Get your tickets as soon as you can. Tickets are still available. Last I checked on the website, and they range from $74 at their general admission level all the way up to $373 for the VIP tour. I think that these are fairly decent prices, especially in comparison to other events like Disney's Star Wars Nights. That starts at $169 for the cheapest nights and goes all the way up to about $189 for the most expensive nights. So it's a decent deal, especially when you think about the offerings on some of these. So like if you want to like spend a little bit more, you can, instead of entering at 7 p.m. when the event starts, you can enter at 2 p.m. and enjoy the parks for a little while, and then go to FanFest Nights. And then there's of course the Express passes. We ended up getting the Express Unlimited passes because I'm bringing my dad to this and I don't want to make that man wait in line. So that's the pass we went for our weekend. And then there are also multi-night tickets where you can go a couple nights in a row. And there's even, what is this? So all event nights are only $249 in comparison to like the Express Unlimited that we got at $203. So if you're a local to LA, that might be a pretty cool deal for you if you're like really, really into this event. So that's what's on offer for the tickets. So let's go ahead and start breaking down the fandoms and what each one is offering, because not every fandom is going to have the same representation at this event. Some have been, I will say, like some are really exciting and some are like kind of a letdown given the offerings they have at other Universal parks involving these fandoms. So we'll go one by one, and we'll talk about every single one coming to the parks. So the very first one we're going to talk about is the one I'm sure we're all here to talk about, which is Star Trek. The first time in, what is it? I don't know, math. Over 30 years that Star Trek is going to have a presence at Universal Parks is the immersive in-world experience called Red Alert. And what they're doing is, it's a little bit like the Halloween Horror Nights walkthroughs, where you will be immersed in a set, a full set build, and you're going to embark on a mission on the Enterprise D, which is wild. So if you were around for the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas, which I did not get to attend, I would say that that was like the inspiration for what we're going to see at the parks. There is, according to the Gizmodo report, there's going to be a transporter effect, so you're going to be beamed onto the Enterprise from where we are here on Earth, and you're going to essentially be on like a tour of the Enterprise that's supposed to be nice and happy, and then it gets attacked and you have to participate in saving the ship and yourselves from whatever entity is attacking the Enterprise. We aren't sure what that is yet. Those details haven't quite been revealed, but what I do know is that there are full set recreations of the med bay and some other iconic locations aboard the Enterprise, and then the like pièce de résistance is the Enterprise D bridge. It is the exact Enterprise D bridge from Picard season 3 that we see the cast re-enter, that was lovingly rebuilt by the set team there, and from the preview images, I'm just gonna say, like, it looks a lot like we are not going to be allowed on the carpet. It looks like we're all going to be on the upper part of the bridge. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I know that when you think of the bridge of the Enterprise D and interacting with it, a lot of folks want to be in the captain's chair, down in the front in the pilot's seat, but it looks like we might be on the upper area. So hold on, let's see. What did you ask, Meg? Let me see. I gotta expand this window a little bit. Hold on. Do we think the Enterprise D? Oh, come on, Streamlabs. Do we think the Enterprise D? It is the set. So it is the set of the bridge. This is like the set of the Enterprise D. Like it's the one straight from. So the reason I brought up us not walking on the carpet is because that was a very touchy subject for the set designers, and I when I first heard that the set of the Enterprise D bridge was coming, I was like, what are they going to do about the carpet? Because that's kind of that was a huge research piece essentially for the set designers, was getting the exact carpet color and then making sure that the carpet didn't get ruined. So so we'll see how that works out. I don't know exactly where we're going to be, but all of the preview images that I've seen, and we have an example here on the website, but there's also a couple images, I think, from, well, I've seen some other images from Gizmodo. Maybe if we go click under get the details here. It looks like we will only be on this upper part of the bridge here. So I'm not entirely sure how much we will get to interact with the bridge itself. But yeah, you know, we'll see how things pan out, how that works out. We will be able to go in the turbo lift, and so it's going to be like a really cool, immersive, interactive experience. And what they're doing is they're calling it a pulse-based experience, which I guess means that our choices will determine the outcome. My other guess is that they won't let us fully fail, because that would be really disappointing. And this is one of those experiences where you one and done it, you know? So this is going to be like the first thing I do when I go to this experience. So the other thing I'd like to highlight about this before we move to like food and merch and all of that that's going to be based on Star Trek is that the location of the Star Trek Universal Fan Fest nights will be inside of the Minions ride building, which is not only hilarious because if you have been to LA or if you're an LA local, you know of the Minion that peeks over the highway from Universal Studios. It is a giant Minion and it's kind of ominous, but it's right there on top of the attraction if you can see it right there on the map. So it looks like we're going to be inside of that building. And that's kind of cool because that building is huge. It's humongous, which gives a lot of opportunity and space for them to really build out the set, to take a lot of their time with it, and to make it a truly immersive experience. So I'm very excited. And essentially this means that if you are trying to beeline straight to Star Trek from the entrance is like right, if you can see where my mouse is indicating, it's like right here on the map. So you're going to go in, go straight through to like this courthouse area, and then hang a left. And that's where your Star Trek experience is going to be. One thing I will highlight is that a lot of these experiences are really spaced out. So pack some comfortable shoes. Do not pack Starfleet regulation boots because you will be in pain. Just get some nice black sneakers and like call it a day from there. So yeah, this is, you know, on that same boulevard as like where the Pets ride is. What is that called? Pets, dogs, cats, whatever. The Secret Lives of Pets. There we go. So that's going to be where the Star Trek event is located, the immersive experience. So some of the other highlights coming with the Star Trek offerings are exclusive merch. If you're looking for that, I would say go check out Gizmodo and IO9. Sabina's been really on top of showing off what's on offer for the Star Trek experience. But one of the things that I would love to highlight here is so that you're going to get some merch there, but there's also going to be some offerings at a at a refitted, I guess, restaurant that is called Quark's Cafe and the 10 Forward Bar. So we don't really have details on how that's going to be set up. I don't know if they're going to be separate or if they're going to be in the same building and space. I'm sure all of us know that Quarks and 10 Forward are from like the 10 forward we know from TNG is not Quarks, and Quarks is not that 10 forward. So I'm interested in seeing how they're, gonna like pan out and how these are going to be situated. But on offer are Vulcan fritters, which I have been told are vegetarian. So that's really cool. So you'll have a vegetarian option. Klingon targ legs, which I think are like beef or steak or something. A funnel cake. And then the real highlight here, the really fun highlight here, are the drinks. So obviously and always there's a Romulan ale. If it's a Star Trek event and there's a blue drink, they tend to go together, like Star Wars and blue milk. So you can expect Romulan ale with this candied stirrer, which I think it's probably going to taste really, really good. And then the other thing that's really fun is there's a margarita with a Seti eel like gummy in it from the Wrath of Khan. So I think that's a really smart and cool decision. I really like it because, when it comes to Star Trek events and like branded content from Star Trek, like it can really be a hit or miss. And it looks like they really called in real Star Trek fans to work on this, and it was done with a lot of love. So I'm really excited about this. I'm going to be going with my partner and my dad, and all three of us really love Star Trek, and I'm sure so we're really, really hyped for this experience. So that, I think, is what's on offer from Star Trek. And Theron, I think you're very right. Given the merch, I'm really leaning toward the enemy being the Borg. I mean, it's Picard themed, that's sort of been his like lifelong enemy, and like there is a lot of Borg-ish merch on offer. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. So we'll see what happens and how that looks, and I will definitely be reporting in from FanFest Nights to cover all of this. But that is what's on offer from Star Trek. So moving ahead, we have Back to the Future, and this is going to be, I'm really excited for this, y'all. Okay, so if you know about Universal Studios Hollywood, you know that it is also a functioning filming lot. There are actual like filming, warehouses, I don't know, studios at Universal Studios in Hollywood. Like and so one of the things that was filmed there and still has it set there, it was Back to the Future. So the courtyard that Back to the Future was originally filmed in, and this has been reconstructed a few times because of like different fires have taken it down, and assorted maintenance over the years. But the Courthouse Square at the studio tour is the lot where the Hill Valley centerpiece was filmed. So that's where the clock tower is. That's where a lot of the storefronts are. And what they're doing with this offering is they are taking it back to 1955. So they are going to refit it to look like 1955 Hill Valley. And there is going to be an immersive experience there that I guess they're going to let a couple groups into at a time. And you spend, I don't know, hopefully like an hour or two there, just really immersing yourself into Hill Valley. And so the events of this event are going to take place during the first Back to the Future. So we're going back to 1955. The Enchantment Under the Sea dance will be taking place there. There is going to be an interaction with Marty McFly where he is going to come out and perform. And then apparently there is going to be a lightning storm there somehow. Somehow they're going to build that. So I'm really excited to see the special effects from this. You know me, I love the idea of immersive experiences, and there's been what is it called? Secret Cinema has been doing like stunt sets of Back to the Future and some other films over the past couple of years, and they've all been in like London and over in the UK. So nobody over here has really gotten to experience what that's like in real life, and I'm really excited to see the actual set of Back to the Future get transformed into what it, into that reflection of what it was during the original filming of the movie. So that's gonna be really cool. Doc and Marty will be around. There's gonna be some really great food from Back to the Future. It looks like there's some like pulled pork coleslaw sandwiches. So if you're looking for some real Americana, You'll have that there, so that's going to be just really, really neat. And you will be able to find it by going up towards Simpsons Land and then over to the studio tour lot. So my guess is we're going to go to the studio tour lot, board a tram, and then groups will go in trams to attend this thing. So right now, details on how check-in works and how these things are going to move haven't really been revealed yet. But my guess is that like if there's like a Back to the Future like by group kind of selection, they're probably going to give us specific return times to come do this thing, because I don't really see how it would work otherwise. Because the only other way I can see this working is if people like sit there in line for hours, and nobody wants to do that. So that is where you're going to be able to find Back to the Future. To my knowledge, these are like the two immersive experiences on the upper level, and I'll kind of define what I mean by that as we continue to go through. But yeah, so let's move forward to Dungeons and Dragons, which is downstairs. You head down the escalator, and you will find Dungeons and Dragons and Mario Land. So let's cover Dungeons and Dragons first. So if you went to Comic-Con like 2 years ago, there was an immersive experience to promote Dungeons and Dragons, like the movie. What is it? Honor Among Thieves. And it was really cool, but it was really fast. You went in and you were done in like less than 3 minutes. And I really enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was really impressive. What they were able to do with that experience was beyond what I had expected. And I kind of feel like that was also a test run of what this essentially became. So what you're going to do is it's another immersive, interactive, pulse-based experience. So your choices will determine the outcome of this situation. So you'll go in, you'll team up with the Harpers and try to save Waterdeep from Xanathar the Beholder. So that's pretty freaking cool. I feel like this experience is going to be a little scarier than most. So, and by that I mean like the kids might not like it so much. But you essentially will show up. Your adventure will begin in a tavern, as so many do, and then you will head out with the Harpers to save Waterdeep. So one of the things that's really exciting about this that was highlighted in the Gizmodo article is that Universal is teaming up with the Jim Henson Creature Shop to create the baddie in this experience. So this is not going to be like a screen with like a dragon on it or anything. This is going to be a real like moving animatronic piece that you will be coming face to face with. So I'm really freaking excited about that because I love me a good animatronic. I think that we are in for a big adventure with this one. It's going to be very action packed. So I'm really hyped. So over at the First Roll Tavern, you will have encounter lots of really cool drinks that seem to be named after classic moves from Dungeons and Dragons. And of course, there will be merchandise on offer, I guess, around the corner at the tavern. So they've got some concept art here of what you can expect. But, we have no idea what it's going to look like when it's finished. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to work. One of the things that, Universal is known for with Horror Nights is like really high action, heart pounding, jump scary stuff. So I think this is going to be, and maybe during Star Trek, but like this will be the place where you should prepare yourself for jump scares. Cause like, I think that's going to be a big part of the experience. So I'm really excited, even though I'm a little scared. So this area is located downstairs. So you'll head down the escalator to where Jurassic Park and Mario World are, and you'll head around the corner from Mario World, and it's going to be situated in one of the studio lots. So that's really cool. I'm really excited to see that they're using those big studio spaces to put on some of these immersive experiences. So it's going to be in Soundstage 15 on the lower lot. So again, prepare to hike. The thing I will say about Universal Studios is that it's not like a big park, our Hollywood Park. It's much smaller than the Florida Park, and we don't have secondary or third parks like Florida is about to get. But but it is like a park where, you know, you'll have to go to upper level, lower level. The studio tour is on a completely different side of the park. So again, comfortable shoes, please. Like, I know even if you're cosplaying, please do your best to stay comfortable. So yeah, moving on. One Piece and Jujutsu Kaisen are the two anime offerings. I was honestly kind of expecting Pokemon to be part of this too, because Pokemon is part of the Japan parks, and it is under the you know, company umbrella essentially. But let's go take a look at them. They're going to be much smaller offerings than the last three things we covered. So Star Trek Back to the Future and Dungeons and Dragons are going to be the ones that you want to make time for, because these other offerings are a little less time consuming, which is kind of why I want to back end them on the day of. Like, my plan is to really go for these three first and then spend my time kind of like relaxing through the other ones. So let's go ahead and just talk about Super Nintendo World first. It is on the same level as the Dungeons and Dragons experience, so that is where I'm going to be kind of like coupling those two, at least in my game plan. So after Dungeons and Dragons, I will probably take my party over to Super Nintendo World, and it's going to be a little bit smaller. Like, there's no immersive experiences, but one of the really cool things about FanFest nights is that crowds are going to be limited. So if you haven't gotten into Mario World yet, this is a really good opportunity for you to go ride the ride there, experience the food there, because the crowds will be much smaller and they'll be moving very quickly. So really good opportunity to check things out and, you know, ride Bowser's Challenge and stuff. But the main theme of Super Nintendo Land, or Super Nintendo World, is going to be Yoshi. There's going to be a big Yoshi takeover. So there will be a Yoshi meet and greet. There's going to be a nightly drone show to illuminate the sky. So if you're really big into Super Mario, and my dad really is, this is going to be one of those things that you're going to want to make sure you make some time for. And right now, you know, like I said, logistics, agenda, all of that, that's not out yet. Like, their schedule isn't out yet, but I'm sure that they're going to put that up like before the event so that you can plan accordingly. There's going to be new Yoshi merchandise, and there's going to be specialty foods on offer for this offering. And then, of course, this is going to be located downstairs in Super Nintendo World. One of the things, again, I'd like to highlight, though, is with limited crowds, if you're only interested in a few of these things, you do have the opportunity to ride a lot of rides at Universal Studios. So the lines are going to be much shorter. You won't have to worry about Fast Pass. Those of us who have express entry will be able to zip through some of these attractions very quickly so that you can move on and do other things. So if you really want to ride Jurassic Park or The Mummy or Transformers, comparatively with like Halloween Horror Nights and like even the Disney Special Nights offerings, these are great nights to go get on those rides and not expect super long lines. So yeah. So heading over back upstairs, we're going to go back up the escalator for One Piece. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is the only really big disappointment for me. If you know anything about me, you know that I am a huge fan of the Waterworld stunt show. I love that thing. I have like preached the amazingness of the Waterworld stunt show to everyone who will listen. It is I've never seen the movie. I've been told that I shouldn't, but the stunt show is incredible. And over in Universal Studios Japan, there is also a One Piece stunt show that is very much like the Waterworld stunt show, in that there's, you know, the stage layout is very similar. Obviously it's on the water, and it has to do with like One Piece and stunts and the ships and all of that. So when they announced that One Piece was coming to FanFest nights, my mind was immediately like, oh, they're going to refit Waterworld so that it, you know, it does this. but that is not the case. The One Piece offering is much smaller than we originally expected, which is fine. Again, this is like the first year of FanFest nights, so I think they're really trying to like get a pulse on how well anime offerings will do at theme parks in America. So hey, do your best to show up for these if you really want anime in theme parks in America. Like, this is really that first push to see if like we can handle a Pokemon Land and a One Piece, offering and things like that. So if you were expecting anything huge, I'm so sorry. But there will be photo ops with the crew of One Piece. So Zoro, Nami, Luffy, Usopp, Sanji. There will be character actors out who will be able to take photo ops with you. And that's really cool. And then also there are some really cute, like, snacks on offer for One Piece that I'm really excited about. And there is also, I guess you can get yourself sketched as a pirate in a wanted poster, which is really cool, and then unique merchandise. So that is going to be on the other side of the circle court thing. So that'll be, if you head into Universal and you just keep on going, this is on offer right around where the DreamWorks building is. And it looks like both anime events are going to be near that DreamWorks building, because the other thing on offer is Jujutsu Kaisen, which I am not familiar with. I'm very familiar with One Piece. It's like almost 25 years old or something, but I don't really know too much about Jujutsu Kaisen. But what they are doing is, and this is kind of cool, and I kind of wish they did this for One Piece instead, but whatever. If you're familiar with the DreamWorks building and what happens in there, it's sort of, it's like a theater experience, but there are projections and the walls move, and it's like a really neat little thing. I like to compare it to the Hanna-Barbera ride, and Minions is kind of the same too. So you're in a little seat and the seat moves and stuff, and everything's in 3D. So they're doing that, but overlaying it with Jujutsu Kaisen, and there's going to be a sorcery battle. I guess this is like Japanese Harry Potter or something. I don't know. Somebody's gonna slap me down for that. I'm sorry. But if you're a fan of it, it sounds like a really cool experience. And I think it's definitely worth going to see. And of course, they're going to be themed snacks and merchandise. So no photo ops for this one, but a really cool immersive theater experience is on offer for Jujutsu Kaisen. And that will be right next to where One Piece is at the DreamWorks Theater. So right around the corner from where Harry Potter World is here. Speaking of, we'll go through that really fast, I guess. I'm not the biggest fan, but I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. So there are going to be some new projections on the castle. There's going to be food and merch, and then creatures from Fantastic Beasts, which is still a thing that is happening, will also be available in the Hogwarts area. And that is it. Like, that's the entire plan for the night. Guests are being encouraged to come and cosplay. So if you've got, your Starfleet uniform ready and pressed, come on in. There are cosplay guidelines that you can review on the website. But yeah, it's gonna, I'm really excited about it. It feels like, I don't know, like a theme park convention sort of atmosphere, like the folks behind this event have said that they recognize how strong community is as a factor in fandom, and so they're really trying to celebrate that. There are going to be cosplay meetups. Again, look out for schedules as we get closer to the event, and there are going to be other things going on in the, in just like the streets of Universal. So yeah, man, like, this looks, I'm very excited. Like, I'm sure anyone who's been around me knows I've been excited for a very long time about this. But the fact that, now we've got tickets, now it's really happening. I get to bring my dad to this, which is just huge for me. Like, I will say that there is an emotional aspect to this, because my dad introduced me to Star Trek, and he introduced me to Star Wars. And now I get to fly him in to take him to this thing and give him something, give back. I guess, in a way, and thank him for making me into the absolute weirdo that I am. So yeah, we're going to this, and then we're going to go to Star Wars, or we're going to go to Disneyland the next day because he's not been to Galaxy's Edge yet. So we're going to go check that out too. So I'm really, really excited for this. And yeah, so that's FanFest nights. Everything we know about it so far. And if you need more information, or you want more detail, or you just are so excited about it that you just want to reread all of the information, you can check out Sabina Graves' article on Gizmodo. She went to a press day, I think last week, where they just did a whole presentation on everything. There are some more images there that weren't featured on the website that you can go check out. And yeah, man, like this is gonna be popping. I'm excited. And it's really funny because like this is happening at the same time as Disney's Star Wars nights. So if you're like a super nerd like me, it's like the perfect time to just line all of these up next to each other, go from the Bridge of the Enterprise to not the bridge of the Millennium Falcon, but the lunch area, cargo bay, and just live out all your nerdy dreams. I really hope that this event goes well. I hope that the fans really like it. It looks like there was a lot of love and research put into this particular event. Let me get Harry Potter off my screen. Nobody wants to look at that. And for Star Trek fans, like, this is pretty huge. Like, one of the things I have noticed as a fan of both Star Wars and Star Trek is that comparatively, Star Trek fans get crumbs. Like, you can throw a rock and hit like 3 Star Wars keychains on the way, and a Star Wars toaster and a Star Wars anything. But Star Wars merch and events and all of that, or Star Trek merch and events and all of that, it's hard to get, and then it's hard to get good experiences, like quality experiences that are really meaningful to Star Trek fans. And I think the choices they made with this look like they're going to be really great. Not to get my hopes up too high, but I'm really excited for this, and I really hope that what it does is it inspires Universal to continue doing really cool things with Star Trek, with Back to the Future, with D&D, with all of these properties that mean so much to us. So I'm really hype. I hope you are hype. And yeah, and thanks for joining me for this stream. I'm gonna try and stream more. I've just been like really busy and life has been a little chaotic, but I will be streaming mostly here on YouTube. I'm trying to move a little bit more over here just because I have a bigger audience over here. So I'll be putting up some more videos. I'll be doing some more streams. Just keep an eye out on my YouTube page and my socials for the schedules there when I am ready to put them up. But yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you all. Oh yeah, the nose ridges. Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, we'll see how much I'm gonna cosplay. I have like Star Trek-y things to wear. But the only official like uniform I have is the TOS medical uniform. So I don't really know. Like, I have a Pop Galaxy top that I can use that's really cute. But I don't know if I'm gonna go in and invest on like a full TNG uniform, especially because this like immersive experience is going to be set in the time of Picard. So that's the big thing to keep in mind, is that don't expect something TNG, expect it to be Picard. Because that's where this is going to be set. But it will, we'll be on the Enterprise D. So that's going to be really cool. But yeah, we will see how it pans out. I hope to see some of you there. If you've DM'd me about it, you know what day I'm going. I'm not going to publicize that here because I don't want to. But if you see me, feel free to come up and say hi. And don't be weird about it because my dad's going to be there, and that would be really embarrassing for me. And I'm really excited for us. Like, our fandom, we get something. We're getting something this year. That's really exciting. So follow me everywhere and here on YouTube. My username is Ohkatrina. That's OHCATRINA, everywhere across the internet. And I will be doing things and stuff. I have a coffee page, which you can subscribe to for updates about my novel, updates about the my foray into product design and specifically a beauty line, and all of the other fun things that I'm doing right now. But otherwise, you all have been a wonderful audience. Thank you, Theron and Mike and Joey, for tuning in and just being awesome in the chat. And yeah, thank you so much. Live long, prosper. May the force be with you. Nanu Nanu. Bye, everybody.